Please rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everybody. I'm going to go out on a limb and say we have nobody that has requested to talk to us today. Okay. Can I get a motion and a second of the meeting, the minutes of the meeting held on August 2nd, 2023, please?
Second.
Yeah, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Those minutes are approved. Can I get a motion and a second to approve today's agenda?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve today's agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, and that is approved. I don't believe we have any conflicts of interest. On to number 8, we can approve the consent agenda. Can I get a motion and a second for approval of the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. That is approved. We have the reports of the president. First step being respiratory therapy and medical lab technician academic update report.
Good afternoon, President Reeder and school board members. I'm Kristen Pasale. I'm the Dean of Health at Southeast Tech, and we are excited to bring you the directors for 2 of our new programs that are starting in January. The first one to present is Blair Hansen. She is the director of the Medical Lab Tech program, which will be housed in our new simulation center. So Blair has a presentation ready for you.
Good afternoon. I am the laboratory director for the new program for Southeast Technical College, the Medical Laboratory Technician program. I am a 2008 Southeast Technical College alumni. I graduated with a diploma in phlebotomy and patient care technician. Southeast Tech was my first stepping stone in my building my 15-year career in the medical laboratory profession to this date. I grew up in rural town Chamberlain, South Dakota. I served the Native American population by being employed at Indian Health Service in Fort Thompson, which is 20 minutes north of Chamberlain, for over 10 years plus before making my transition to Sioux Falls for better possibilities for professional growth in my laboratory career, where I recently had transitioned to Southeast Tech from Sanford Health, and my positions there were lead laboratory assistant and also laboratory supervisor. Medical laboratory technician, the degree that we are going to be offering is an associate's degree, which is a 2-year. Medical laboratory technicians are known as MLTs, medical laboratory technician, or CLT, which is a clinical laboratory technician. There's not a difference between the two, it just depends on the organization with how they want to disclose the profession. The MLT job performance, we are mainly behind the scene kind of a role. What we find out is causing the condition or the disease for the providers. What I found interesting was that 60 to 70% of all medical decisions regarding patient diagnosis and treatment are based on the outcome of the laboratory results that we are providing in the laboratory. Laboratory testing. You all may be familiar with blood samples that we test for, but there are other laboratory testings that we do, such as with urine, feces, tissue, and other bodily fluids, such as synovial fluid or amniotic fluid. Job duties for a medical laboratory technician. There are different job duties enclosed in this profession. One of the main things is phlebotomy, which is drawing blood. Some of the smaller hospitals do not have phlebotomists or lab assistants, so the medical laboratory technicians will be performing the blood draws and along with all the analytical testing. The larger hospitals do have phlebotomists on board, so majority they will just do the medical laboratory testing. They are responsible for making sure we are projecting accurate results, which result in maintaining the lab equipment and projecting that all of our quality control is in stat and that everything that we are projecting is to the critical knowledge. So we monitor quality controls, which we run on all the analyzers daily, and we analyze and correlate the patient results with providers to make sure what we are projecting for results is matching up with the diagnosis is. There are 6 main departments of the laboratory. First one, when you go to a clinic, you will probably get a CBC performed, which is hematology, and that is the study of blood and the blood disorders. And that also would help out with the diagnosis of anemia. Secondly, we have chemistry, which you will be getting a complete metabolic or a basic metabolic panel performed, and that will help with a diagnosis of such as diabetes. Third, we might go to the clinic for a coronavirus symptom performed for microbiology, and that is help to identify the organisms causing the initial infection, and that will help diagnose the COVID symptoms. Urinalysis is getting a urine performed, known also as a UA, and is helpful in diagnosis as a urinary tract infection or a UTI. We have a immunology, which is when you would go to a clinic to get vaccinations and complete for a new job or if you're enrolling in new school. And that helps to diagnose if you're immune or have the antibodies such as with rheumatoid arthritis. Lastly, we have blood bank, which is if you are a patient, you'd present to the hospital for a possible surgery. A cross-match and antibody screen would be performed, and that would be an example of blood bank. And an O-negative donor is called the universal donor, meaning that anybody can get O-negative in an emergency situation. The medical laboratory program outlook is separated into 2 years. The first year will start in the spring of 2024 and go through the fall of 2024. The program will be 3 semesters, and it will conclude lecture in the simulation lab. The second year of the program will start in spring of 2025 through fall of 2025. It is 3 total semesters, and it will include lecture in clinical and hospital setting for their clinical rotation. So the last 6 months will be all clinical. They will rotate between clinic and hospital setting. Clinic mainly for the chemistry, urinalysis, immunology, hematology, chemistry, but the hospital for the blood bank and microbiology setting. Certification for the medical laboratory technician program. South Dakota does not require a state licensure. Neighboring states such as North Dakota, along with 10 other sites, do require a state licensure. And we will advise students accordingly if they are through one of those sites that they are going to be employed at with the proper steps for that. And students will also be able to sit for the American Society for Clinical Pathology, ASCP certification exam post-graduation. There are a variety of career options besides working in the laboratory as a medical laboratory technician, such as a forensic science technician, a veterinarian technician, quality lab specialist, client support representative, medical equipment repair technician, medical sales representative, cytotechnician, and a lab IT specialist. These are the organizations within South Dakota that affiliate with job vacancies for the medical laboratory technician. We have Avera Health, Indian Health Service, Monument Health, Department of Veteran Affairs, Sanford Health, and South Dakota Department of Health. MLT careers, they are projected to increase 13% from 2021 to 2023. South Dakota-wide search, I found that there are 70+ vacancies available in the working industries that I previously listed just in South Dakota. The annual salary ranges from $40,000 to $45,000 depending on the job description and the organization which they are working for. Medical Laboratory Technician Program future goals, we would like to be NAACLS accreditation, which is National Accrediting Agency for Clinical Laboratory Science, and we would like to set up a program-to-program articulation agreements with examples of schools of South Dakota State University and North Dakota State University. questions or acknowledgements about the report, I want to thank you for this opportunity and for your attention in awarding our medical laboratory technician program.
Anybody have any questions or comments?
So,
Do you have a waiting, currently, do you have a
was
waiting
gonna
list? What's your enrollment numbers?
No.
Okay.
No.
So you're able to get the students that have interest.
Sorry, what?
It's starting in January of 24, so it hasn't started yet. Like, but are people enrolling?
Are they
Like,
taking
can people
enrollments?
enroll now for the program or no? Not yet. Okay.
I don't believe so. I'd have to speak with admissions.
anybody else in South Dakota offer this?
The same medical laboratory technician program, yes. There are 3 other colleges. They're on different sides of the state. So we're hoping to get like the Sioux Falls region, maybe the upper Iowa, North Dakotan, kind of that kind of region, Nebraska versus there's one out in Rapid City, there's one in Mitchell and one in Watertown.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, when you think about getting labs, if you go to the emergency room, if you go to even your doctor and you are trying to describe your symptoms, often the first thing that they do is draw your blood. And so it is such an important, it's not just drawing your blood, but it's what color of tube do you need and how much blood do you need so you don't have to come back and poke your patient again, especially if they're a hard poke or they don't want to get poked. So it's often that first thing that people use as a diagnostic. And so it is super important. And it can tell more than you just looking at your patient. And if somebody can't, you know, you have a young child or even an older patient who can't describe their feelings or their symptoms, it's just so important to have that information. And as we continue to grow in Sioux Falls with all of our healthcare and we continue to have robust admissions and lots of different things going on, we need to be able to keep up with having our patients well cared for as well. So exciting addition to our program. And exciting to have an amazing building for you guys to have your program in starting in January too. So what a great way to kick that off and get people excited about the program in general. So thank you very much for the information. Anybody else?
Thank
No?
you.
Can I get a motion to acknowledge the report of the medical lab technician program?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That is acknowledged. And I probably jumped the gun, but now we're going to do respiratory therapy.
So Jennifer Sparkman is the new director for our respiratory therapy program, which is also starting in January. Both of these programs, by the way, are Build Dakota programs. So the next cohort, as they apply, starting in January, they can apply for these 2 as well. Jennifer?
All right. Good afternoon. I am so excited to be standing in front of you today. My name is Jennifer Sparkman. I go by Jen. I have been a practicing respiratory therapist for the last decade, and I come to you from Washington. I haven't been here very long, moved in the middle of August, so this is literally my 2nd week over at Southeast. So today I'm going to be explaining what a respiratory therapist is, kind of what we do, and our program outlook as of now. So. Oh, and by the way, I have a Master's of Science degree in respiratory. I've been well educated in respiratory.
What is a respiratory therapist? Now, this is probably the most common question I ever receive. And to put it simply, I'm just going to say this. There are 2 things that every individual walking on the face of this earth have in common. And that is that the first thing we ever did was take a breath. And the last thing we will ever do is take a breath. Somewhere in the middle, hopefully we take 1.5 million breaths. If you ever question where that next breath is coming from, between your first and your last, then you are soon to find out what a respiratory therapist is, what we do, and who we are. Remember, average is easy. Don't be it. What is a respiratory therapist?
Enough of that. All right. Sorry, technical difficulties. I really wanted to show you that video because it puts what a respiratory therapist is so well. So basically, but not. So respiratory therapists are the linchpin of modern healthcare. Guiding patients through the intricate journey of breathing and recovery. Whether it's a premature infant struggling to take their first breath, or an elderly individual managing a chronic lung condition, these professionals are the unsung heroes who make it possible for us to breathe with ease. So we are cardiopulmonary experts. You'll see a respiratory therapist in the hospital, maybe the ER. We're giving breathing treatments. We're giving inhalers, medicine to help you breathe easier. We're also in the trauma rooms. We're helping with CPR. We're at the head of the bed. We're maintaining your airway. We're helping doctors intubate, putting the breathing tube down your throat. We're hooking patients up to ventilators. We're also there on the floor units. We are helping patients at night with their CPAP units. We're taking blood. If you see us at the computer, we're usually looking at x-rays or lab results, figuring out symptoms and diagnosis, helping doctors directly. We work directly with nurses and other medical professionals as well. And one of the most overlooked things that respiratory therapists do is patient education, educating patients on their disease process, how to manage it, and what to do when they go home so that we keep them from coming back to the hospital. All right, so about our program. Our program is not just a standard educational offering. It's a transformative experience that blends theoretic knowledge with practical skills. The graduates emerge with a profound understanding of the respiratory system and expertise to provide top-tier care in a variety of clinical contexts. This equips them to address the ever-evolving challenges posed by respiratory disease and the growing demand for specialized care. What sets our program apart is our commitment to hands-on learning. Our cutting-edge simulation lab, which will be soon up and running, replicates real-life scenarios, allowing students to refine their skills in a risk-free environment. By immersing students in practical experiences, we're ensuring that they enter the workforce with a level of confidence and proficiency that's second to none. But this program isn't just about producing skilled professionals. It's about nurturing leaders in healthcare. I believe that healthcare is not only about science, it's about compassion, innovation, and leadership. Our curriculum is designed to instill critical thinking, problem solving, and effective communication, qualities that are indispensable for healthcare leaders in today's complex world. Our graduates will have come out with a 2-year associate's degree. They'll be able to sit for a board exam through the National Board of Respiratory Care, and they'll be registered respiratory therapists. And I'd like our graduates to also be affiliated with the American Association for Respiratory Care as well. We'll also have our graduates take certifications for advanced cardiac life support, along with pediatric and neonatal advanced life support. All right, and employment after graduating. There's so many different environments you see a respiratory therapist. At the hospital, as I mentioned earlier, clinics, sleep labs are a great way for our graduates that are interested in that type of thing to go into that. Home health, another big one. We send patients home with oxygen a lot and they need that set up. And an emerging thing for respiratory is also telehealth. Patients call in and they're able to talk to a respiratory therapist about their symptoms, and we're able to, a lot of times, keep them from having to go to the hospital. All right, a quick Google search shows over 25 current jobs in Sioux Falls alone. So it's vast. Our graduates are going to find jobs in anywhere from Apria, Avera, Sanford, Somnotech, VA, to mention a few, and a very good salary coming right out of school from a 2-year program, $52,720. And of course, we have to think about goals for the future. So future of respiratory therapy program, we can talk about articulation agreements for a bachelor, and this would open up more opportunities for respiratory therapists. You're looking at graduates being able to go into management, education, research, advanced practice respiratory therapists, which comes with a little bit more college, but and then of course care management. So very exciting. All right, that's all I have for you. Thank you very much for letting me present today.
Does anybody have any questions or comments?
So this program has to be accredited.
Yes,
Who accredits
COARC,
that?
yes. Sure, it's, yes,
sorry.
please. Yes, I'm so sorry.
Oh, don't be sorry. I'm the
Jen's
guy
been
that's
here
sorry.
a week, you know. Yeah, so the organization that accredits most respiratory therapy programs is COARC. And they, for a while, they said they weren't going to accredit associate degree programs, only bachelor's. But then one good outcome of the COVID pandemic was that they backed off because there is such a huge shortage. So COARC is the accrediting body that we're going to be going through. So her curriculum will be set up to meet the COARC accreditation as well as articulation to four-year schools.
And I know sometimes the program has to exist for a certain amount of time before accreditation. So I would imagine that's the same for this, where you have to kind of be up and running so that you have data to look back at.
Yeah, you know, it depends on the accrediting organization, because this one, she can start on accreditation processes. Same with MLT. MLT can, actually the students will be able to say they graduated from an accredited program. So it varies with
Sure.
every accreditor. So we do our research ahead of time, and she's working on that piece of the curriculum.
Great. Anybody else? Questions? Yeah, I would just say, I think like you mentioned, COVID has really brought out the need for additional respiratory therapists, and not even just obviously during the time that it was at its peak and people were in the hospital, but there are people who are still struggling now with some of those issues. And so being able to be in all those different places, the hospital, the clinic, and even homes, I think is important to make people comfortable with the equipment, because for some people it's a very foreign thing. And I also would just add that I think I don't want to call it customer service, but that is really what it is having that ability to talk to somebody, because when you're sitting with somebody and you have a mask on their face, it can be real awkward to stand there for 15 minutes. And so just the ability to relate to somebody and to understand what they're going through, I think is so important, those interpersonal skills as well. So again, I'm excited for you guys to be in the new building and to kick off your program and really make a difference in the facilities and the community that are desperately needing your graduates. So hurry up.
Are you starting in January, or do you start taking enrollment?
We're starting in January.
Yeah.
So the doors are open now if
Right.
you want to enroll.
So we just met with admissions today, and we have the admissions guidelines for both of these programs. So they will start recruiting right away. First class, we don't know how many will be in that class, of course, but both programs, the curriculum is designed so that they don't have to take a semester of prereqs unless they want to. All of those, the general education ones, are fit into the 2-year plan, so they can finish both of these programs within 2 years from the start date. So, and starting it in January, then their clinical is opposite time for a lot of programs, clinical, because theirs will be in the fall of their final year, so that will help with clinical placement as well.
Very nice. Great. Thank you very much and welcome.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Can I get a motion in a second to acknowledge the respiratory therapy academic update, please?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That is acknowledged. Thank you. Enrollment.
All right.
Drum roll.
President Ryder and members of the board. My name is Megan Fisher, and I'm the Vice President for Enrollment Management and Student Affairs at Southeast Tech. And it's my privilege today to share with you our campus's fall 10-day enrollment count. We always say that recruitment and retention is a campus-wide effort, and it is. And so It's always easier to give this report when we're up a little bit, but everybody works hard, and our faculty, if we didn't have top-notch faculty and top-notch programs that were high in industry demand, it would make recruitment more difficult. So we're excited to bring on these new programs in January, and so we're already out there for January and working on next fall, but I'm gonna give you the update for this fall. All right, so you can see compared to last fall, 2022, we're up 48 students, or about 2%. So we'll take that. And looking at credits, slightly up. What I would say is we know that we have more students starting the second 8 weeks of the semester. They're not included in our 10-day count, but we'll have a few additional students. I know we have some community healthcare workers that are going to be starting in the second 8 weeks as well. So enrollment is always fluctuating as the year goes on, but on the 10-day, we kind of put a flag in the ground and say this is our 10-day count for fall. And this is something that I've shown you the last several years, kind of looking at where we are as an institution with part-time versus full-time enrollment. And I think what this demonstrates is that Southeast Tech really is serving a variety of students. You can see that we have 48% of the students enrolled for fall 2023 are part-time, and they make up 31% of the credits that are taken. So our programs are doing a good job working with part-time students who have busy lives. Many of those are non-traditional students. Some of them are also traditional students bringing in a lot of dual credit with them. So they might be part-time that first semester. But I think we're doing a good job of meeting the needs of all of our learners. And then I just wanted to highlight some of the good programs that we have going with our high schools, including the Sioux Falls School District. So dual credit students are high school students that are being taught by our faculty. And then concurrent students are being taught by their faculty who are credentialed with Southeast Tech and are utilizing our curriculum and teaching the students directly. So dual credit students, you can see we're up about 5% this year, which is great over last fall, and concurrent pretty close to even. We've got 25 compared to last year, which was 29. The Avera Academy program continues to be very strong for us, and we have a full cohort again. That's a great program, and I know many of you are familiar with it, but I'll just say it in case anybody's watching. But the partnership with Avera and the Sioux Falls School District, that's for high school seniors. They come to Southeast Tech, they take classes, and then on Fridays, they're at the hospital learning about different roles that they can go into in a healthcare setting. Classroom to Careers is similar, but that is a partnership with Sanford Health, Sioux Falls School District, Sioux Falls, the City of Sioux Falls, and First Premier Bank, and the classes are taught at Washington High School. So we're down a little bit this fall, but that's a year-long program, so hopefully we see a pickup in the spring, just based on student schedules. And then we have McCrossin Boys Ranch, which is, we don't see a lot of numbers, but it's a very impactful program, and it's been very successful. And the students who have entered that program have stuck with it for the most part, and so it's a success story as well. And this is just a partnership that we offer basic construction management courses at the ranch for these students. And then Teach Well, Strive. This is partnership with Teach Well Solutions and South Dakota's Division of Rehabilitation Services. And so the program supports students with disabilities by focusing on building skills young adults need to be successful in college and future careers. So last fall we had 7 students come to us from Teach Well, and this year we have 4, and they have a staff member who's out at Southeast Tech and works closely with those students, providing support to them as well. And so that's been a great program. And then I just want to point out, we also have partnerships with Brandon Valley High School, where we provide CNA courses and basic EMT courses. Of course, we're out at the CTE Academy a lot, and Harrisburg High School, where we have CNA and construction management courses. Oh, and West Central out in Hartford. We provide some construction basic courses out there. And then, like I mentioned right away, in the world of admissions, we've already turned the page. So we're focusing on bringing in the next class for January starts for the new programs as well as fall of 2024. And you could just see everything that goes into it. We see a lot of students throughout the year. Our reps are already out there traveling for high school visits, college fairs. We'll have campus visit days, career exploration days this fall. Lots of good things going on. And then we already see a lot of high school seniors coming in with their parents, even in September, for personal visits with reps and campus tours. And so we're at it for fall 2024. So that's my report. Do you have any questions for me?
Anybody? Can you scroll back down to that one slide you were just on?
What's
Can you
that?
scroll back down to that slide you
sure.
were just on?
This one?
Yeah, thank you. I was just noticing the campus visit days at 537 last year is a significant increase from the years before. And I think that that's awesome that we can get people in person.
Yes.
Because we have such amazing facilities that looking online just doesn't do it justice. And so if you can come online or come into the facility, see where you'd actually be learning, and then talk to somebody that and have that one-on-one face-to-face, I think that's so important. So that right there is a huge commitment on your guys' part, people-wise. I mean, that's not easy to do. So kudos to you guys for the efforts of that, because that, I think, really makes a big difference.
And a lot of that
people.
goes to our faculty too. Students, we know the number one thing, if you've taken your students to a college visit
Yep.
or have been on one yourself, you want to meet the faculty and the program they're going into, and that's the biggest feedback we get from students too. They want to see our labs and hands-on learning. So,
Yep.
and I will just point out that we had to cancel one of the career exploration days last year because of weather.
Oh.
So that's why that number is down a little bit. So hopefully we're able to host it this December.
Yeah, it is so important for people to not just look online, but to actually imagine themselves somewhere and visualize what that would feel like and be like. And so that's awesome. I love to see that. And obviously you're doing a lot of other touch points, but I just feel like that personal touch really makes a big difference. So great start. Not a huge increase, but not a decrease. So we'll take it, right?
Right.
Yeah, awesome. Anybody else have?
Do you have your Build Dakota Scholar signing day numbers in this too, or is that completely separate?
Yes, no, those students are in here as well. So they're counted in this fall's enrollment as well. So I know you were able to join us out at Build Dakota Signing Day, which was a great event. So yeah, those students come in and we track them very closely to make sure that they're meeting the scholarship requirements. And a big part of retaining the students is just, as you've heard reports through the years of the student services and holistic approach we take to providing student support at Southeast Tech. We do that very closely with our Build Dakota students as well as all of our students.
Good, thank you. All right, if there are no further questions, can I get a motion and a second to acknowledge the enrollment update?
So moved.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That is acknowledged. Thank you.
President Ryder, members of the school board, my name is Jackie Palmer and I'm the Director of Institutional Effectiveness. And I am on the SPOC committee, which is our Strategic Planning Oversight Committee. And I'm here today to give you a progress report on the strategic plan. So I'm going to be using a slide presentation similar to what we presented to the campus community on fall kickoff day. Okay, so just a reminder, I'm sure you have been in some presentation before on our strategic plan. So this is just a reminder of what those 6 strategic priorities are. They are ensuring academic excellence, increasing access, improving employee campus culture, growing partnerships, enhancing our marketing and awareness, and also advancing student support. And their strategic plan is posted on our external website as well as our internal portals as well. These 6 strategic priorities should align very well with the South Dakota Board of Tech Ed strategic priorities of attainment, affordability, and alignment, which we're just undertaking right now, kind of digging into those 3, but I think these align very well. So we have a Vision 2025 committee sign up, which aligns very well with the 6 strategic priority work groups. So the work groups have been there from the beginning, putting together the plan, and we've got committees that support those. And so the committee sign up for all of that happened right after kickoff day in August, and I just wanted to go over how we're kind of operationalizing that. So our Strategic Planning and Oversight Committee has the oversight for accountability and resource alignment for the plan. They're tracking, or we're looking at the tracking in our Watermark Planning and Self-Study platform, which has been a godsend for us as far as being able to put progress updates in there, accumulate all of that, and then come up with a progress update report. So we're going to get the campus committees trained to go in and put in their own progress updates, and that's also upload evidence. So the campus stakeholders, which your group would be one of those, will be updated during employee meetings as well as in-depth reviews during our IE days. Progress reports will also be downloaded from Watermark and shared with governing boards and stakeholders. So we should have, quite a bit of data to show where we're at each year of that 3-year plan in Vision 2025. So this is just a snapshot of our Watermark Planning and Self-Study platform. So each year of the strategic plan, we can look at the goals and whether they've been met, the tactics for the goals have been met. We can map them to some of those supporting committees. So if a supporting committee is working on something that aligns with that strategic goal, their progress updates will flow to the strategic goal. So it's really a campus-wide effort where everybody is working on that and we're able to document that and get the evidence for it. So you can click on the bars and it'll tell you exactly how many tactics have been met, how many are left to be met, and then you can drill down even further to see which committees were responsible for providing those updates. This is an organizational chart that also shows how we're doing the operationalizing of the strategic plan. So at the top we have the President's Council or Cabinet, and that would be the Vice President's CIO and President. And underneath that we have the the Employees Advisory Council, and then we break that off into the green side on the left, the campus leadership team, which is overseeing those 6 circles, which are the 6 goals. So everything from on the left, partnerships, academic excellence, access, organizational culture, marketing and awareness, and the student support. So underneath those kind of lime green circles, you've got the civic engagement, which aligns with partnerships, and we've had that committee for quite a while. So whatever they're doing in civic engagement will flow up to partnerships. And then academic excellence has quite a few circles. So our faculty forum is all of our faculty meet once a month, and they hear reports from the 6 groups that are underneath that. We have an online ed council, a credential committee, a campus technology committee, a curriculum committee, a faculty development and funds work group, and then the Celebrate Learning Assessment team. So all 6 of those are working toward academic excellence. Access and workforce opportunity is the Access Circle. The organizational culture is the professional development team and the campus climate team, which plan a lot of events for our people to get to know each other and to have a better working relationship once you've built those other relationships. And then our marketing and awareness. And finally, the student support. We have an academic resource center committee which reports up to student support. On the right-hand side are just our cross-functional teams, which are compliance, safety, and security, as well as our module managers, which is kind of an IT-based group. So policies, budgeting, or building response team, and the threat assessment team kind of report up through those cross-functionals. And that is all I have for the strategic plan update report. Are there any questions I can answer?
Anybody? Questions or comments?
We'd like to report again with what some of the things that have been met, so that would be the next report. Right now, we're just operationalizing it and coming off a very successful HLC visit in April. The strategic plan is priority.
I think the nice thing is that you have a system that everyone can contribute to, and all of the data can live in one place, because it's easier then to look for trends and find kind of those key pieces. I also think as we're going forward and we're looking at different campaigns, whether it's fundraising or whether it's looking for additional partners, to be able to go back to something and say, this is what we do and this is what we've done, and have it be very factual is so important to getting people on board and seeing the success that we've had, and knowing that that history is going to also show our future as well. So I think that one site will be really helpful for everybody to contribute to and really get some good data.
And we'll keep adding modules to that site, but if they can upload their evidence, there's no having to go round that up later. Say, oh, in this year you did this, you just upload your evidence right into the portal, so it's very convenient.
That real time will make it more effective for sure. Great. Thank you so much for the update. Can I get a motion and a second to approve the strategic plan update report?
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That is acknowledged. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anything else to come before the board today? No?
I feel like you should waddle
Did a nice job. Awesome. Well, thank you all for the great updates. Lots of exciting things happening out on campus, and it's just September, so lots to come. I know you're all like, it's only September. There's a lot to go on, but thank you all for coming, and we'll see you next month, if not before. We have lots of events coming up too that we can participate in. So, meeting is adjourned. Oh, I didn't get a motion.